All right, everybody. So we're gonna get started. Uh, so obviously, yesterday was not like a great day. So I want to address that. There was a positive COVID test amongst the students in my room. I cannot tell you who that was. I don't know who that was. But it was in my classroom in one of my class periods. So due to that, many of you may or may not have been contacted. Due to contact tracing, you may have been asked to quarantine through May 11th, which I understand is for those of you who are on campus and excited to be back on campus. That is frustrating and upsetting, and everything is probably not the correct words to describe how you feel. But that sucked. We didn't really get a whole lot of time back in the classroom, and now some of you guys aren't allowed back until the 11th. You're not allowed to participate in any school activities and things like that, and that's upsetting and frustrating. If you are concerned as far as like whether or not you're in contact with this person, everyone who has determined to have been in close contact should have been notified. You should have gotten like an email or some sort of communication from the school telling you that. So if you did not receive that kind of communication, then chances are you're not in the close contact circle, so to say. However, that being said, it is ultimately still your choice whether or not you want to be on campus. As long as you attend virtually, you will not be marked absent. So, keep that in mind. Wesley, do you have a question, or did you not realize your mic was on? Okay, so yeah. Obviously, because of that, I am at home. I'm doing that out of just a lot of precaution for myself, for my family, and for you guys. For those of you who are in my classroom, just because obviously due to contact tracing, I was in close contact with that person. I am fully vaccinated. I should be. Chances are I'm 100% okay, but just out of caution and out of respect to all the people that I'm in contact with on a daily basis, I wanted to take all the precautions so that I feel good about what I'm doing. I also went and I'm getting myself tested. I just want to take all the necessary precautions for myself and for you guys and for my family. So yesterday sucked. It's kind of just the long and short of it. It was not something that I wanted to experience it. It's not something that I wanted you guys to experience and have to go through. 1 week, basically 1 week into hybrid learning, and it's not a great start. So anyhow, I obviously wanted to address that. I didn't want to just kind of brush over it. It's a big deal. It affects you guys. So if anyone has any questions, if you have anything you'd like to say, any kind of vent about that, please feel free to do so. Just kind of here to support you guys for right now. And so if you have any questions, please let me know. please ask. I'm not 100% sure which class period they were in. And really, I'm not supposed to say, even if I did know, just for the privacy of that student. So, sorry I can't really answer the question, but there's legal reasons why I can't. Yeah. And I mean, that's, we're in a weird, precarious kind of spot right now as we're trying to get back into being normal. Everyone, wants things to go back to normal. We want to be live in person in the classroom. We want to be able to go out and do things. And unfortunately, our society in general has very much ingrained in it that, being sick is not a big deal. And, people regularly, before the pandemic, regularly would go to work sick, go to school sick, and just kind of brush off how they were feeling because work and school is important. So it's a hard thing to overcome, to change the mindset and to change the pressure of society, so that people feel more comfortable taking care of themselves, which is a sad thing that we have to do as a society. So just as a reminder, if you don't feel well for any reason, just stay home. And the other thing with this, with COVID and everything, it's entirely possible for someone to have it and feel normal, have no symptoms. So, we don't know, how this student felt. We don't know if they were asymptomatic. Like, it's just a tough one. So, our curiosity wants to know who it was so we can figure out what happened, why were they at school, all these things. But, just like everyone else who comes to campus, they were health screened, they had their temperature checked, they got their little sticker. It's kind of just where we're at. It's kind of the best we can do. We can't do a full, physical for every student that comes on campus right now, unfortunately. We can't do like a rapid test for everybody and confirm, stuff before people come to campus every day. So it's just one of the risks as it is right now. So, yeah. But definitely threw me off yesterday. Definitely wasn't something I was expecting. So it really sucked. I didn't like it. So I'm home now. I do not have my normal setup. I have only my laptop, and it's gonna be interesting. Does anyone else have any other questions? Anything they'd like to add or say before we move on to less interesting things, I suppose? All right. So then we're going to move on to the class section of today. So kind of what the idea for today is, as far as content is concerned, is kind of preparing for taking the AP exam. So making sure that the testing application is loaded on your computers, making sure you have all the correct specifications on your computer to be able to run the testing application, and kind of go through the steps of downloading the app, getting logged in, right, signing into the app, going through what you're going to have to do leading up to the exam for any exam that you're taking, not just AP Stats if you're taking more than one. We're going to kind of go through that, and we'll see what the testing environment looks like, and kind of walk through that today. So that's the idea. First, before we get into like the whole exam app and all that stuff and the little presentation that I have for that, we do have some like brand new laptops that were from NIMSY, which is the foundation that kind of supports our school and gives us extra things for AP. We have like 200 laptops that were purchased specifically for AP students. And these can be available to you if you do not have a device that you believe will be sustainable or accommodate the testing app. In order to get one of these computers, you need to be enrolled in AP Stats and taking the AP exam, right, which you're all enrolled in AP Stats. So if you're taking the AP exam, you're eligible to possibly get one of these computers. If you already have a school-issued computer, you need to be able to turn in that computer at the time that you're trying to check out the new computer from the library. So that's if you have a school-provided device already. If you're just looking to kind of use this instead of like your own personal device, because your personal device might not be as reliable, you don't need to turn in your personal device. But these computers are to check out, so when you're done, it has to be returned. Yeah. And okay, and then we should be picking up these devices by the end of this week. I'm sure that's a little bit flexible due to things that are happening, but they gave me that deadline because of other AP courses that want to have access to these computers as well. So we don't get a huge time window to get these, but if that's something that you want and you're able to make accommodations to swap those out or get to the library to check one out, you can do that. You just need to ask for a NIMSY laptop, and the librarian knows which ones they are. So there's that option if you guys need a device that is more reliable for testing. And if you plan to use one of these new laptops, then you do not want to load the AP app, the exam app, onto the laptop you're using right now, because once you're loaded on whatever computer you load this app onto and you sign into and is set up on, that is the computer you must take the AP exam on. You cannot switch to another computer and download the app and do all that. It doesn't work that way. So make sure that whatever device this testing application is on and that you register on and all that stuff, that's it. That's the device you have to use. You can't be registered on multiple devices. It won't allow it. So please make sure that the laptop that you plan that you're going to load this application onto is the one that you will test on, and it will be available for you to test on. All right? It's kind of a big thing. You cannot have multiple devices with the application on there. Is there any questions about that? All right. So then I'm going to do this little presentation. Let's see if I can make this work. Alrighty, so let's do that. So this is a little presentation from College Board, who make the AP exams and all that stuff, about the digital AP exams, which is what we will be taking for statistics. The June 10th testing date is for digital testing. So before the exam day, you need to download the app. Right, this application is available for download now, and you need to download this on your desktop or laptop, PC or Mac. Unless you're using a school-provided device, the application should have been pushed out to that computer already. At least that's what I was told. If not, I believe you can actually download the app to a school-provided laptop if without like special passwords and stuff, because I was able to do it on mine. And usually when I download applications, I need like an admin password, and this one didn't need that. But I do believe if you have a Chromebook from the school, the application should be installed on your computer already. Right. And so the website essentially to go to download the app, right, to get to the page that's on the presentation right now. I'm going to put in chat here. All right, so it's cb.org/AP 2021 exam app. And that is the website you go to be able to download this application if you're using your own personal computer. All right. Again, if you're using a Chromebook, you should be able to search for the digital testing app. The icon should look like a little circle with like a little acorn in it. So if you have a school-provided Chromebook, you should check to see if the application is already downloaded. Right. So the testing app needs to be downloaded, and you can follow the steps that pop up on that screen when you go to that website that I put in the chat. Right. Before exam day, right, you need to log in. You can do this at any point. Right, you'll need your College Board username and password to use the app. So this is the same username and password that you use to get into AP Classroom, which if you're taking the exam, you are on. You had to do that earlier in the year. I think we did it during first semester. You guys had to register, say whether or not you're taking the exam and do all that stuff. That all happened in AP Classroom. Right. If you do not know your username or password, you can retrieve those using the forgot username or password. Also, you want to check Remember Me, so you won't need to log in each time that you return to the app. All right. The next things only happen a few days before test day. All right, so 3 days before your test, you'll run through exam setup in the app, where it'll confirm some information about yourself and your device. You must complete exam setup for every digital AP exam you take, and it's critical that you complete this step before test day. So you want to do it 3 days out is the earliest you can do it. Right, so like June 7th for our test is the earliest you'll be able to do this. All right, their testing date is the 10th. And you definitely want to do it at least 24 hours before the exam. If you wait till the day of, you might have problems. You will have problems. And I'll remind you guys to do these things as well. The day of the exam, 30 minutes before your exam, you need to check in. All right, you'll launch the app, check in for your exam. You'll review privacy policies, type a security statement, right? You need to actually type in this statement saying that you won't cheat or plagiarize. It's important you check in on time. You won't be able to check in once your exam starts, right? There's like no grace period. You'll have to essentially try to submit for an exam makeup if you don't check in before the start of the exam, right? Doing the check-in 30 minutes before the exam is what we need to do. Again, this should all be kind of like scheduled in that day of the exam that you'll have time to do this. Right before the exam begins, the app will lock your device. You'll need to close all other applications before testing begins. Right, that means that once the test starts, the only thing you'll have access to is the testing application. You will not be able to navigate to anything else. That's it. Right, the exams start automatically. If you finish check-in before your exam start time, you'll see a timer counting down. Right there. When time expires, the exam will start automatically. Okay. At the top left of every testing screen, you can access general exam directions as well as section-specific directions. Right, so like we have exam directions, section directions, right? It tells you what section you're in, how much time you get, what kind of questions you have. Okay, so that's kind of directions. We'll do that up here. During the exam, a timer will count down the time remaining for each section. You can hide the timer except for the last 5 minutes of a section. Once time expires on the last section of the exam, your answers will be submitted automatically. Right, so you will get a warning when 5 minutes are remaining. Right. Again, once that time expires, it will just be done. Things will be submitted. Right. You can annotate. You can highlight any part of a passage or question that you might want to return to, or leave yourself a note to organize your thoughts. Right, so you can annotate, highlight something. So when you're solving word problems, as we do in statistics, you can highlight things. You don't have to type a note in if you don't want to. You could just simply leave it highlighted or underlined and stuff like that. In most STEM courses, you'll have access to a reference sheet with commonly used formulas. If your AP exam requires or allows calculators, you must bring your own. So again, you won't be able to access like Desmos. You need to use that TI-84 calculator. It's going to be more reliable than using your phone, and you shouldn't be on your phone while testing anyway, but you know, not that we can stop that when you're testing at home or remotely, but it's that TI-84 calculator is going to be able to do things that your phone just won't. Right, and that little reference sheet is the same kind of like formulas and tables and things that we've been referencing in class. That table A, table B, all those things will be available in the references. You can zoom in and zoom out to get a closer look at any part of a question. You can find the zoom in, out buttons under More. You can also make one side of the screen bigger than the other with the expand left or expand right. These things. On every screen, you have access to a help page where you can view frequently asked questions. So you have that. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. Some multiple choice questions are centered on the screen, while others have a stimulus content on the left and questions and answers on the right. Multiple choice questions, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or return to questions you've already answered. But remember, there's no penalty for guessing. Right? So again, unlike the quizzes that we have in class, you know, the multiple choice assessments that we do for each chapter, on this, you will not be able to move backwards. Once you answer a question, that's it. You're moving on. Breaks between sections. Between sections, you'll have a break. The timer will let you know when the next section starts, just like at the beginning of the exam. When time expires, the exam will resume automatically. And however much time on that section will start. Free response questions, otherwise known as FRQs. On free response questions, you'll type directly into the app, and all your work will be saved automatically. Any special characters you need are available in the text editor. There are no files to upload, and you won't submit any handwritten work. Right, so everything's just going to be typed. Once you move on from any free response question, you cannot go back to it. Right? But on free response questions, you have more than one part. You can go back and forth between parts until you're done working on the entire question. Right? So like if question 1 has parts A, B, and C, you can go between parts A, B, and C while you're working on that question, but once you've completed the entire question and you move on to question 2, you cannot go back to question 1. And again, you'll get these little reminders, I believe. After your exam, answer submission. When testing time expires, the app will end the exam and your completed answers will be submitted automatically. Do not exit the app until you see a "Congratulations" message confirming that we received your answers. All right, so if you see the screen here where it says testing complete standby, don't close the app. All right, don't close your computer. Wait till you get the "Congratulations, your stuff has been received." When you see this screen, you're all set. Hey, congratulations. And then you check AP students to see when your results will be posted. If your internet connection drops at the end of the test, we'll show you some immediate steps that you'll take to complete your answer submission. If you run into an issue you can't recover from, you can go to My AP and request a makeup. Right. Next steps. Right. We're already in the thing. AP students will be able to download the app and start practicing. You'll need your College Board username and password to use the exam app, so make sure you have that info handy. Good luck on your 2021 digital AP exam. Right? And so the practice is something that we'll look at today because it has us go through kind of like the whole process of like the registration, the 3 days out, the 30 minutes before process that was kind of previewed in this presentation, so that we know what that is, how much time it takes, that kind of thing. Are there any questions? All right. So let's share my screen. And we're just gonna minimize. All right, so on my desktop here, I know my desktop is like tiny. I don't like large icons. We have my 2021 Digital AP Exams app over here. Right, when we click into this app, it's going to take a minute. Usually when I open this app, it takes a minute or two for it to like get going. It does this whole little loading thing, right, checking for updates. Again, this is part of why you don't want to show up right before the exam is supposed to start, because the app kind of takes a minute. And it's thinking. It's still thinking. So again, this is a good time as we're waiting for this thing to open. If you need to download the testing app, please go to cb.org/AP2021 exam app and go through the steps to download the application on your computer so that you can do some of these steps as well. And it's still thinking. Now, why the app has to go through all this every time it opens, I don't know, but it does. I swear this works. I've tested it a few times. I don't know why it's taking so long. Let's try that again. Not a ring endorsement for this, guys. Every time I've done this, it has not taken this long. All right. I don't know why this isn't working. Let's try something else. It's just gonna stall out again, isn't it? Ooh. Yay, all right, I got it. Finally. All right, so I've already logged into the app, so it's confirming, is this you? Well, yes, it is. All right. So I have no active digital AP exams. Right, so it says here, each of your digital AP exams will appear here 5 days before the exam date. You can check your registration status in My AP or contact your AP coordinator. Right, so like our AP stats exam is not going to show up here yet. It's not going to be there. If you have any past exams, they'll show up here once they're completed. Practice, right, we have here. I went through the whole digital practice. This is a longer simulation. I think I can reset it for myself, but here's our app demo. This is essentially a shorter practice of what everything is going to look like. I recommend doing one or both of these. The other practice, right, the digital practice, is I think an excellent thing to do to see what the exam feels like. I think there's like 15 minutes to complete like I think like 10 multiple choice questions or something. I have 15 multiple choice questions, which the normal set of multiple choice questions will be longer than that. And then there's like an hour to complete 3 free response questions. So it's a timed thing. You'll get to see what it feels like. You'll get to see how the questions are written and things like that in the digital practice. The app demo, right, kind of goes through the same initial steps of like the registration and all that stuff, which is helpful. So when we do our start exam setup, right, we have to agree to our terms and conditions, right, which you have to, I read and accept, right, it's a lot of stuff. Say next, right, confirm your personal information, right, first and last name, accommodations, if you have any testing accommodations. Right, is this information correct? Yes, click next. Right, device requirements, are all those device, is this the device you'll use on test day, right? So again, if this is not the device you're going to use on test day, when you're going through this whole process, don't click yes, right? You only want to complete this process using the device that you will be using on the day that you test. Let's see what happens if we click no. Please close this app and launch it on the device you'll test with and complete exam setup, right? So if you're going through this and you click no there, it's not going to let you proceed. because you must do this on the device you're going to use on the day of the test. All right, we have to grant college boards the rights to use, produce, reproduce, and publish my free response materials for educational research and instructional purposes. Blah, blah, blah. You have to agree to that one. All right, required test day checklist. This device and its power cord. AP exams require a calculator, right? You can use your TI-84. Students testing in person are required to follow safety procedures as dictated by their school or testing location, right? Some of you in the survey that went out said that you wanted to be able to test on campus, even though it's a digital test. There will be a testing place for you guys to do that, where you'll be able to go, sit, take your test on your computer at the school site. And again, if you're doing that in person, you need to follow all safety procedures. Students testing in school will be provided scratch paper and may not use their own. Students testing at home may use their own scratch paper for obvious reasons. All right. Again, you should have scratch paper available when you start this test. You need to have something to write on so you can do scratch work, right? And do your calculations and set things up and do all that fun stuff. Prohibited notes, books, or any other reference materials, headphones or earbuds, unless you have a College Board approved accommodation. Smartwatch, smartphone, or any other connected device, camera, recording device, or timer. Multiple devices. You cannot run the exam app on more than one device. Then there's this video. It's a couple minutes long. And this is the script for it here. It's essentially going through the next steps, right, on how to do this. You have to watch the video to get to the next screen.
You're almost ready for your upcoming digital AP exam. In a minute, we'll finish configuring this device. Be sure to use this device on test day. And if you're taking more than one digital AP exam this year, you'll need to complete exam setup for each subject. Launch the app 30 minutes before your exam starts so we can check you in. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and get ready to test. If your exam requires a calculator, you will use your own. And if you're testing from home, you can bring scratch paper and a pencil or pen. Right before the exam starts, the app will lock your device and you won't be able to run any other applications. An internet connection is required to test, but the app will keep running even if your connection drops momentarily. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital testing secure, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or return to questions you've already answered. On multiple choice questions, your score is based on the number of questions you answer correctly. Remember, there's no penalty for guessing. On each question, you'll have access to a toolbar. You can annotate questions, zoom in and out, and on STEM exams, you'll have access to commonly used formulas. If you run into problems, click on Help. And between exam sections, you'll get a short break. On free response questions, you'll type directly into the app, and your work will be saved to your device automatically. Any special characters you need are part of the app. When the exam is over, your answers will be submitted automatically. If your device is offline, you'll have time to reconnect and submit your work. We're excited that you're taking a digital AP exam this year. Good luck!
Alrighty. So now that it's been watched, we can click Next. The exam has been loaded into your device, or onto our device. So when we click Done here, things are updating. We're ready to practice. Right. So now this has changed to Check In Now. Click that. We're going to have to go through a few extra steps again. Yes, that is me. Agree to the privacy statement again. This is our security statement. I wonder if I can copy and paste this. Try. Nope. Annoying. Alrighty. So we got to type that out. It cannot be copied and pasted, so that's fun. All right, gives us the same checklist here, required and prohibited things. You're about to enter lockdown mode, right? And we'll begin soon, right? It gives us a little timer here. This is not the actual exam, so in this case, right, like, you know, there's not like an actual specific start time. All right, here's your directions here. Notice that the directions are up. Our timer has already started. Right, the amount of time on the test is the amount of time on the test. It doesn't give you extra time to read the directions. You don't need them. Close it up. All right. We have, in this case, it's giving us 4 multiple choice questions for this part of the practice. All right. Most of the multiple choice questions will have 5 options. This is typically what I give you on our multiple choice questions in the class. Right. So you read this. We have a like a two-way table. So we have like marginal distributions, all that fun stuff. Which of the following statements is true for the 100 students? Read through the statements, right? Make your selection. And you'll be able to do this on your own. I'm not actually reading this. I'm just putting things. Reminder, you can't go back. Try to move on from a question. I cannot return. Next question. Right. We have another one. We have this doodad here. Right. These are some box and whisker plots. Remember, these little plus signs are not like just there for fun. Those are outliers. We're doing a box and whisker plot, or a stem and, or not, yeah, box and whisker, or a box plot, right? So we can read through these options, right? Based on the information displayed in the box plots, which of the following statements is true? Right. And we'll just choose one here. Right. We're just going through this because I want to show you guys what it looks like. Are you finished? Yeah, I understand. Oh, all right. Then it's giving us this really long break. For some reason, you get, I think it's a 10-minute break between each section. Right, and unfortunately, this is going to take a minute. I did not think this through. All right, so I don't want to have to wait for that, so what can I do? I don't know what's going to happen if I try to do this. There's always a workaround. Let's see what happens. Okay, stop presenting. Yep. And okay, so let's do this. Give me a moment. Can you guys still hear me? Yes, all right. Excellent. Cool. Sorry, I had to pull up the Teams on my iPad because this thing's locked down. So that's fun. So here we go. So this is kind of what it looks like. You guys will be able to go through this. We'll probably take a day next week and do the longer practice exam. I recommend doing the short one first. It gives you just a quick idea. We'll do the longer one probably, I think we'll do it next week as part of more preparation for this. If you are not taking the AP exam, I might still have questions available that are similar to the ones that will pop up on this thing for you to practice with, because practice is still good. All right, so yeah, I think this is going to take a while for that thing to come out, and I can't access the Teams app, but I have it on my iPad here. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? All right, did anyone have that tried to download the app? Did anyone have any issues with that? All right. So we're getting right up towards the 1 hour mark here. That's essentially what I wanted to do today. So that's gonna be it. Oh, another thing, both of the assessments for Chapter 10 are now available. We have the multiple choice and free response questions. Those should both be published. I will double check that in a few minutes, but I believe I published them yesterday. So those are now available. The due date on that will be next Friday, the 7th. Due date again. It's just a pacing suggestion. Like I said, we'll take a day next week to do a little more practice for AP exam, and then we'll probably begin Chapter 11. But we'll decide. I might want to do some more review. We'll figure it out. But other than that, that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope things go better than yesterday. And I will see you all next week. If you have any questions, you need any other help or support, please let me know.